All right, we are live. We are live. How cool is that? Uh, as I do all my live Q&As, I'm going to kick it off with a bit of education to get everything going, and then open up for lots of Q&A. So, who's on? Chime in. Tell me where you're at. I'll be checking out the comments while I'm doing this. So this is about growth strategies for your agency. Technically, you only need one growth strategy. You don't need a whole bunch of them. And here's the thing. This is strategy, not tactics. Nearly everyone, especially marketers, like to say, tactics, tactics, tactics. We've got loads of tactics, but they call them strategies. They are telling you, oh, you need to be doing Facebook ads. Well, that's not a Facebook ads is a tactic. It's a thing that you do. Why are you using Facebook ads? That's strategy. Why are you doing content marketing? That's strategy. Doing content marketing is execution. That's tactics. That's the actual act of doing something. So you've got to be really clear as to the questions that you're asking, and also what people are telling you. If they're telling you to do a thing and they call it a strategy, it's not. So that's like the key thing with doing any kind of planning for your business. If you are mixing up, conflating tactics with strategies, you're going to struggle. You're going to have a hard time getting to the next level because you're using a tactic instead of a strategy. That's the first thing. So now let's get into your strategy, building your strategy for your agency. There's a fundamental belief, and maybe it's just mine, but I'm always talking about little hinges swing big doors. So the one thing you've got to understand about an agency is that it's about growth. For an agency is about selectivity, not promiscuity. So if you see an ad that tells you, here's how to get 20 or 30 clients for your agency, then run away, because they're pushing promiscuity. They're pushing a business model that it relies heavily on churn. There's no way you could properly serve 20 or 30 clients if you're new and you got them today. Even if you've been in business for some of my clients, if they added 20 or 30 clients into their business and they're already doing $1.5 million, they're going to struggle. They're going to have a hard time servicing those 20 or 30 clients. That would be a terrible business model. So your growth strategy should focus on small number of people. I always recommend focusing on getting 10 to 12 in a year, 10 to 12 really good clients in a year. You might get a few smaller clients than those 10 to 12 to keep paying the bills, but you should be focused heavily on acquiring 10 to 12 clients, not 120 clients. You should not be looking at doing that until you're a much larger agency. And when I say much larger, I'm talking above 5 million. You should not be after loads of clients. All right. All right. Oh, got a person, Renee from Germany. All right. Thanks. And the recent advice. All right. Perfect. Glad to have somebody from Germany on here. That's awesome. Currently preparing the details after a successful first pitch. Love that. Love that. All right. Anyone else chiming in from anywhere else in the world? That would be fantastic. Okay. So the next part of your growth strategy is niching is not sufficient. Picking a niche is not a sufficient method of getting clients today. It is not a good way of getting growth in your agency. Well, I'm going to work with plumbers or dentists or some other type of group. I'm going to work with them. But what are you going to do? What are you going to serve for them? Because going after dentists, you've got 1 million competitors right there. There's already loads of people. I've got several clients who've been in the dental space, and it's hard. And they got multi-million-dollar agencies, and they have a hard time standing out among the masses of marketers who just jump in because, well, hey, dentists have money and they're always looking for new patients. So let's go do that. So picking a niche isn't sufficient. So you must pick a specialty. What is your specialty? Because you're going to be able to craft a perfect marketing message from your specialty directly to the needs of a market. All right. All right. Got more people chiming in. Singapore. Sweet. Sweet. Ian, thanks for popping in here. Troy from Baltimore. All right. All right. And then we get Chris from the UK. All right. Fantastic. Got people all over the world. All right. This is something that I've been involved in the internet back before it was technically before the World Wide Web existed, back in the 1980s. I started dinking around on my Commodore 64 and was in little bulletin boards, chatting with people from the other side of the world. That was when I was a teenager. I'm nearly 50 years old now. And I still cannot believe how amazing it is to have people from Germany, Singapore, Baltimore, the UK right here, right now. Like if you can't be amazed about that kind of connectivity to your potential market, to not just market, but hobbies, friends. Like I've got friends all over the world, Lisbon. I've got friends in Thailand. I've got friends in Australia. I've got friends everywhere. And I see them about once a year. And that still blows me away. This is the power of the internet, to be able to connect people all over the world and be able to make a living doing it. I am still just as blown away today as I was as a teenager back in the late 1980s. I had to say the late 1980s. I wasn't a teenager in the early 1980s. I'm not that old. All right. Okay. Here, final part. And okay, one of the things about doing these lives is my ADD really kicks in. And so when you're watching my videos, they're highly edited. Like you would not believe how much Pedro has to edit my videos, because I am literally pinging off the walls. All right. So now the third part of building a strategy is that you've got to find your market. It's amazing how many people skip this step. They just go right into trying to do Facebook ads and trying to craft an audience there, but they don't actually go out and see where's my market at. They don't go, what are they consuming? This is old school marketing stuff, old school direct response. One of the powers of direct response marketing back in the day was list building. If you didn't have a powerful list, then you were not going to be able to make any money, because it was expensive to send sales letters to 1 million people. So you had to have a great list before you mailed anyone. A lot of people have forgotten that, because the internet's made it so easy that you don't have to be good anymore. You can just start pounding away and you can start getting some customers. But if you figure out where are they, and then make a spreadsheet. I hate spreadsheets. Seriously, I cannot stand to look at spreadsheets. I would rather write on pen and paper than to look at a spreadsheet. But a spreadsheet's powerful for you, because you can list all the different channels that your market is in. So if they are consuming, if trade journals are still a big thing in your market, then you need to have a list of all the trade journals. And you need to know how much it costs to advertise in those trade journals. You need to know what their reach is, because they may have a reach of 10,000 perfect buyers for you. And then you know how much they cost. So then you can divide the cost per reach. So you'll be able to understand which one of my marketing channels should I go after first. Go with the one with the highest reach and the lowest cost per reach. Okay, then are they consuming email newsletters? This was one of the things that we learned with all the different channels with one of my clients. We had been testing a bunch of different channels. Facebook was generating some good business, but it was hard. It was really hard to generate business from Facebook. And then we found email newsletters, and my clients did not want to advertise a text ad inside of an email newsletter, because it was $4,000 mailing, $4,000 to send one email out with a text ad inside that email. Let that sink in. That's all you were getting. And the thing is it started generating anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 per month in sales that were recurring. So every time they would advertise in an email newsletter, they would generate in that month about $25,000 in recurring revenue per month, and it costs them $4,000. That's insane, right? So as you're starting to figure out, well, where is my market? And then you just step in front of them. You need to have your message ready, and you step right in front of them. So start making your spreadsheet. All the different channels. Are they consuming trade journals? Are they consuming magazines? Are they consuming particular websites? Are they inside of Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups? Where are they? Make the whole list. Don't skip this. Don't go, I'm just going to do Facebook advertising. Actually make the whole list. Where are they? Because this makes growth really easy. Because if you know exactly where all your market resides, where they go to consume information? Where do they go to entertain themselves? Where do they go out to eat? Where do they go on vacation? Like, if you learn these things about your market, you can just step right in front of them and just be like, here's my offer. Here's my offer right here. And they'll be like, yes, that is exactly what I need. How'd you know? And it's like, because I've been searching you. I've been becoming a student of who you are as a human being. And I just stepped in front of you. That is the true key to growth. If you have any other kind of strategy than the three things I listed, and I'll sum up, because I'm all over the place with my ADDs. So selectivity, be selective. Do not take anyone as a client. Don't try to get anyone as a client. Be very selective on who you're going after. Focus on a specialty. If you don't have a specialty, I solve this one problem. If you don't have that, then you got to fix that. So you got to study your market enough to know what their problem is and develop a solution for it. Then the third thing is find them, find where they're at. Fourth thing is step in front of them with your solution. That's growth strategy. All right, boom. Now let's get right into answering some questions. All right, this design life. How do you set up an agency that allows you to travel as well with family? All right. Well, I've been doing this since 2004. I broke free of doing in-person client stuff. I broke free from an office. Like, we're in one of the small bedrooms in my house. Like, that's my office. Like, almost like if I stretch out, like I could almost touch the walls. It's like the smallest room in my entire house. I think my walk-in closet's bigger than this room. So that's it. I chose to do it like that. That was the one thing. And this in 2004, Skype really sucked. It did. GoToMeeting still kind of sucks, but GoToMeeting was my tool that allowed me to communicate with clients. And I just broke free. I just said, I'm not going to meet with you in person ever again. I just am not going to do it. If I happen to be in town, I'll gladly meet with you. If you happen to be here in Phoenix, glad to meet with you. But and just let's go have lunch. Just enjoy conversation. But it's a choice. So then it's a matter of, well, what tools do you need? I hate Slack, so I don't use Slack, but I use a project management tool. And inside that project management tool, they have a chat feature that I use to chat with my the different people that I'm involved with on a project. And then the rest of it is I use Zoom. Zoom has become like my go-to tool. I dropped GoToMeeting about 3 years ago for Zoom, and that's all I do. Like, I sit here in this office and I talk into a camera to my clients. And then I do the same thing, talking into a camera to the people who work on my team. That's it. Like, you just simply make the choice because we have the availability today. And then it's a matter of figuring out what works for you. I've tried Basecamp. I've tried a whole bunch of different tools to try to communicate. Slack was one of them, but Slack turned, like I said, like I'm all over the place ADD wise. So if there's anything that can distract me, I will be distracted by it. So I like very simple tools so I cannot get distracted. So you find what tools work for you to communicate with your contractors, your employees. One of my clients, he's in Australia. Most of his team is scattered around the world, Asia, Europe, and in the United States. Though his office is a co-working space, a private room in a co-working space in Australia. And if he wanted to, he didn't even have to be there. He just likes doing that. But the rest of his team all over the world. All right, on to the next one. Good to see a fellow ADHDer. When I was young, like in the early days, 1970s as a little kid, they called it hyperactivity disorder. It wasn't, and I was just hyper, and they wanted to drug me. And my parents were like, no, there's no way we're going to drug our kid. So you're just going to have to put up with him being insane. So it took a while for me to learn how to engage with the rest of society. And so I have little tricks and stuff that allows me to seem like I'm focused when I'm, being all me. So ADD, ADHD, I see it as a gift. A good friend has that. Oh gosh, like as soon as I said good friend, I've lost his name. Peter Shankman. He's got a podcast on it. Like look up Peter Shankman. I think what is his website? Is petershankman.com or something like that? Go check it out. It's really great to be able to hear a perspective on something that it's not a disease, it's not a disorder. It's just a different way of engaging with the world, and you can use it for your benefit, especially in entrepreneurship. All right. Let's see. All right. That's kind of weird. So Ahmed, just letting you know, your message was flagged by YouTube, but I'm going to hit show. So thanks for popping in from Egypt. All right, current problem is client pays $500 a month. My plan is to write 3 detailed offers for customers. Apple to pay $2,000 or $4,000 or $6,000 per month and target them with ads. Okay, then do so. So if you're attracting, and I think I've told this to Ahmed in different comments and stuff, but if you're attracting a lower quality customer, it's not the customer's fault. I see a lot of this all the time. It's like, oh, people want this from me. They want this service that I don't offer. They only want to pay a certain amount of money. You're the marketer, remember? You're the one with the agency. You're the one who does advertising. You're the one who does marketing. Use your skills to attract the right kind of people to your business. That's the answer. I know it's kind of a dick answer, but that is the answer. Use your skills to attract the people you want. If you play the victim and say, well, this is all I get, well, then that's all you're gonna get. Like, take control of this. One of the beauties and one of the reasons that I became an entrepreneur was the fact that you can take control of your life. You can control much of your life. So if you want to get paid a lot of money for a small amount of work, which is what I wanted, and I built that life. It was hard to build it, but I did build it. So that's what you should do. Take control of your life and find the people who will pay it. Because there are people who will pay $2,000, $4,000, and $6,000. There are people who will pay $20,000, $40,000, $60,000. And I could keep going. $200,000, $400,000, $600,000, $2 million, $4 million, $6 million, right? There are people who pay those amounts. They exist. Are you capable of serving those people? That's the part about focusing on your specialty. If you focus on a specialty, you will be able to serve people at that higher level. All right, into more Q&A. Any recommendations for finding and meeting potential quality virtual team members for future project work? This is coming from Kurt. Be active. So here's the thing, like virtual, meaning I want them to be anywhere in the world. Okay, great. But are you willing to go anywhere in the world to find people? You have to people. It's one of the things. Earlier I was talking about the power of the internet, how it's easy to connect with people. But the best connections I've ever gotten, they started on the internet, but then we met in real life. In real life, IRL, that's what you've got to focus on. How do I build up a network of people that I stay connected with? At least once a year, I see them and I connect with them. Start like in sports analogy, build a bench. Sure, you got your starters, you got the people who are actually working in your business. They're out there playing. Then you've got a bench. You've got people you can go to afterwards. You need to, if you need to fill in a role, you need a spot filled on your team, you go to your bench and you bring them in. You need to be working on cultivating that network. It's part of your job as an entrepreneur is to have a network of people to go to. You don't have a network, you start using the tools that are available to you. I like using Upwork. Sure, you get some flaky people on there, but then every once in a while you get someone who's amazing, and you stay with them for years by going and learning how to vet people to find out are they just there to make a little extra money because those people are going to flake on you? Are they between jobs? Well, if they are, then they're going to flake on you. If it's their career, if it's something that they want to use to control their life and be able to travel the world, well, then they're probably going to be there with you for years. So start with the easy tools if you don't have a network. But then the next thing is as you make money, spend money to go places and meet people who could potentially become your employees or contractors or vendors. Go meet them face to face. All right. And it's not easy. And so one of the questions behind, and I get the question about hiring a lot. Everybody wants the easy button for hiring. There isn't one. Everybody struggles from the single person trying to get their very first hire to the large corporations. They all struggle with hiring. So when you're hiring, you don't know anything about them. You try to vet them and you do all these different things and you're networking and you're trying to figure out who this human being is. But until you hire them and put them to work and see what they do, you don't know who they really are. Once you get that going, if they're not a fit, you get rid of them, you do it again. And it's a skill set to learn how to hire and fire. And it never gets easy. Sorry. All right, let's jump into some more. Thomas, do you have a video? Oops, it disappeared. Was retracted. All right. Okay, Thomas, I guess you found your answer. And Bunty also message retracted. So anybody got Q&A? Because if not, I'm just going to sit here and drink my coffee and stare at the camera. Man, that is a good latte. I was glad I had just enough time to actually make this, though it's starting to get cold because it's been like 30 minutes that it's been sitting here. All right, any other questions? This is a time for you to get answers to learn how to grow your business. And because if you don't have questions, then Q&A is over. So let's get some questions in. Who needs more customers? Who needs growth? Who needs to build a company? Follow-up question coming. All right, Kurt, I'm waiting on it. Type faster. One of these days, if I'm gonna keep doing these lives, what I want to do is get away from my webcam, get over to my higher quality camera, and then figure out a way to actually bring people on. Because reading your questions in the comments, it's kind of lame as an interactive tool for people who watch later, or even people who are watching right now. I think it'd be a lot more fun if I could bring on Kurt and others to actually ask their question on camera. That'd be fantastic. All right, Jamie, currently I do voiceovers for clients Cool. I like it. I want to offer digital marketing services with an extension of my brand as a digital agency. Do you feel I'm offering to? Yeah, or immediately. Like I haven't even finished reading your question. And it's like already you're why? Why would you do that? Why don't you become the dude that one dude? People only know him as like the movie voice guy, right? He makes millions of dollars a year. Be that guy, right? That's the thing is people want to start offering lots and lots of stuff. Your clients don't want that. Good clients don't want that. They want you to have a specialty. What is your specialty? If you're like, I'm going to do voiceovers and then I'm going to also do this, some marketing and all, your message just went from narrow, I've got a solution, to wide. And I don't really have a solution, right? It's kind of a solution, because I just want to fit in as many people as I possibly can. If you like doing voiceovers, do voiceovers. There's plenty of work out there. Be the best at it. You can. Will you make millions like the movie voice guy? Probably not. But can you make a few $100,000 a year? Probably, because there is plenty of work if you focus on your specialty and the people who need that specialty. All right, Ian. I have multiple clients in the same vertical online wine store, one prospect in the same niche as if a conflict of interest, as if there is a conflict. In my humble opinion, I don't think there is. What do you think? I don't think so. So it's funny. Clients will say, I want you to have experience in my space. I want you to be an expert at doing online wine retail or whatever. I want that. I want you to know how to do that. Oh, but I don't want you working with my competitors. It's like you can't have both. You literally cannot have both of those. So that's something that you can tell people. It's like, you want my expertise. Well, the only way I have that expertise is to be working with people in this industry. So then the other thing is that I've always done is ask somebody if they're willing to pay for exclusivity. Tell you right now, nearly no one will do it. Charge them 3x the normal price, 4x the normal price, 5x the normal price. It's like, okay, if I have to give up my 5 other clients, then you're going to have to pay your fee times 5. And then I'm more than happy to work just with you. And then they're going to be like, oh, no, I don't think so. And so then you may not get that person as a client. Good. Go get someone who doesn't care that you're working with other people in the industry. So this is about, like at the beginning of this, about selectivity. If you're selective, you get to say no. You get to say no to them. That's powerful. That means you get to control your life. You get to control your business. You don't have to be stressed. You don't have to have jumping at the whim of any of your clients, because you are selective, right? Okay, now, legal question. So then I'm going to have to give you the standard legal disclaimer. Do you have a video on putting together a business contract for a client, from covering to not being sued? So I am going to do one on contracts eventually. I started one, but it was going to be just to cover the basics of what needs to be in a contract. It was going to be crazy long, like over an hour. Probably need to make it a training, because no one's going to consume it on YouTube. Sorry, like no one's going to sit through that, right? But I don't share contracts. I don't share details of contracts, because I learned this a long time ago. People just copy them and then they get into trouble because they won't actually go talk to an attorney. Go talk to an attorney. So that's the legal disclaimer, but it's also the smart thing, because all my contracts have been reviewed and helped crafted by an attorney. because that's their job. They're an expert in it. So that's what you should do, is go there. But yes, there are certain things that you should have in there. But so you're asking not to be sued. Not like, you can't control that. You can have the best contract in the world and you can still get sued. You need so everyone watching this, you need to have errors and omissions insurance, called professional liability in some places. You need that because some moron is going to sue you. Even if it's not your fault, you are going to get sued. Right? I've had a few scares, and maybe one of these days I'll do a video on the scares I've gotten. I've not actually been sued, but I've been threatened to be sued. And then I just finally got them to calm down, have a conversation, and turned out it was a complete misunderstanding. So I was able to resolve those issues without going to court. So your contract, I had contracts with these people, didn't matter. Because humans are irrational. You got to remember that contract is logical. The human is irrational. So they don't care if they have a contract. And if you're in the United States, one of the most litigious countries on the planet, actually probably, I think it is the most litigious, has the most lawyers of any per capita of any country on the planet. And so suing people is just like, hey, let's do that for fun on a Sunday, right? Let's go sue some people. It's crazy. So you're never going to avoid being sued or threatened to be sued, even if you have a contract. All right. Let's keep going down on strategies for administration for new virtual hires. You need an onboarding process. Here's what I've with a lot of my clients. They'll hire someone, give them an hour a day worth of attention for maybe a week. And then they're just like, why aren't you doing your job properly? Like, it takes 6 months to a year before any hire is actually doing a great job. You need an onboarding process that allows for that 6 months to 1 year. You don't just throw somebody into the fire, and then if they suck because you didn't train them properly, well, then it's your fault, not theirs. So you need to have an onboarding process. What do they need to know to be a part of the team? Culture, like they need to be a part of the team. What do they need to know to do their job? What do they need to know in continuing education? So like the first thing is, how do we get them to 60% competency in the job? Because most entrepreneurs go, well, they said they were experienced and I hired them, so why aren't they doing a good job? Hire experienced people, but you're still going to have to train them just to get them to 60% competency in your own business. Then after that, you've got another 5 months to another 11 months after that 60% competency in the first month to get them to 90%. I never even focus on 100% competency out of any employee, because that means they have to go above and beyond to hit 100%. And hell, I falter as an entrepreneur at achieving that myself. So how could I expect my people to hit 100% if I fail to hit 100% all the time? So I don't even expect that. I try to get them to 80 to 90% competency, and that's fine, right? But you have to have a method of doing it. Each job is going to be slightly different, but you're going to have a framework of first week, we do these things. The first 4 weeks, we do these other things. And then over the course of the next 5 months to get to 6 months, we do evaluations. We do continual training. We do a weekly coaching call. Or if you're face-to-face, well, you said virtual. So we do a coaching call where I just ask you, like, hey, how's things going? Do you need any help from me? What's something that is going great? What's not going great? And then you integrate that person into your company. That's what you do. All right. Renee from Germany. If entering a new market, would you ever offer a reduced rate for your service to get a foot in the door? Example, Google Ads experience in one industry, offering it to another industry. Why are you going to another industry? That's like my first question. Like, Have you mastered that other industry? Are you doing $100 million a year in that industry? If so, then yeah, go to another industry. But if not, then why would you do that? Because the grass is not greener in that other industry. That's my answer. Let's see. But okay, and now to answer the price thing. If you're an authority, if you're an expert at AdWords, why would you discount your price? The only time you discount is when you don't know anything. Like, hey, I'm cheap today because I don't know anything. See, like right now, even after all my experience, I like to tell people this is the cheapest you're ever going to be able to hire me, because in the near future, my price is going to be higher because I get better all the time. So I don't have to go backwards in price. Okay. So if you're an expert in Google AdWords, then why would you go backwards in price? It doesn't make sense. So that's the answer on the discounting. If you're not an expert, well, then you're probably going to have to discount it's not really a discount. You're just going to be cheap until you get your experience. Okay, Pam, you mentioned getting into LinkedIn soon. Do you have any tips on marketing there yet? Going after higher paying clients? Okay, so there's a lot of people who are teaching LinkedIn stuff and doing a bunch of stuff about direct messaging people on LinkedIn, and you should, but most of them are spammy as hell. So I'm about building a brand, so I don't spam. So if you reach out to somebody in a direct message, make sure it's targeted. Don't sell them on the first few messages. Actually, try to build a relationship. That's one of the biggest tips I can do. But the main thing I'm focused on LinkedIn is brand building. So content marketing on LinkedIn, and that's driving a lot of people to checking me out. I'm not trying to convert any right now. So that's why I've not done any, Pam, I've not done any training yet. I've not tried to do a video or anything because I'm not trying to convert yet. All I want to do is build an audience. That's all I'm doing on YouTube. You go to my site, timconley.net. I still haven't even opened it up. I've got it built. I got my new website built. I still haven't even opened it up. The reason is I'm not trying to sell anyone right now. I'm just trying to build an audience, because the audience is going to be far more valuable to me the bigger it gets. So I don't want to capitalize on it yet. I've got clients and I'm getting referrals and I get business that way. So my bills are paid. So I'm doing this for a completely different reason. I'm holding off on really teaching the LinkedIn stuff until I'm actually taking money, right? So content marketing, very, very powerful on LinkedIn. Like I've got my daughter doing it now because she's going off to build up her own career. She used to work for me. I taught her social media marketing, and we've got a post that I had her do. Her knowledge, her training, she put it on LinkedIn, and it's been seen by and she has no people connected to her, 24 people or something connected to her. And so far, about 800 people have viewed that post of hers. So, and think about this, on my videos, in the first 2 days, I might get 300 views on a video on YouTube. But on LinkedIn, I can get 600, 700 in a matter of 2 days. That's powerful. Then it's a matter of just ask people to connect with you. Just ask them, connect with me. Because then it's like they're raising their hand. That's my type of marketing. Raise your hand, right? So hopefully that helps. If you want more details, I'll answer them, but I will give you the caveat that it's not my personal experience yet. It's some clients' personal experience, but not mine yet. All right. Is there any lead nurturing sequence you would recommend for agency? Is your agency's clients using any? So we do a couple. So in the agency and my clients, the way it's set up is a lead comes in, and the first thing we need to do is indoctrinate them into our worldview. If they don't believe us to be the expert to use, if they don't believe it, then the whole sales process gets really hard. It's it's amazing. Somebody who comes in and goes, so Tim, what do you do? Like that's a terrible lead. It's like don't even try to take that person from so what do you do to sale? What you do is you go like, hey, since you don't really know who I am, like the best thing is like let's do a little Q&A. I'll leave you better off than I found you. But here's some information I'd love for you to have, and it'll help you build your business. And you just send them some PDFs, and that would be the start of it. And so then you get them into an email sequence. That's for people who don't know who you are. If people have gotten some indoctrination before they enter into your sales process, then you still need to take them to the next level. So when you get somebody to schedule a call with you, then you need to have a video training that says, here, do this thing, right? And learn these things first. So if you do that, if you focus on that area, then they're going to understand, well, what's going to happen on this call. They're going to understand why you're the expert they need to listen to. And they're going to know what we're going to talk about. So it's like, so process of the call, who you are, and then what we're going to discuss. So so a lot of people are like, we're going to do a strategy session. Well, what's the strategy session? What do I actually leave with at the end of this call? So you do this in a short video, and then you can give them some other content to consume. Go read these blog posts that I have before you get on the call, or log into this client area and download these PDFs that I have. And then this indoctrinates them so that when they get on that call, they believe you to be the expert. Then if they still don't convert, then you put them in a longer term email sequence. This longer term email sequence is going to be like the first week is like, hey, this is right after the call. So we still want to try to convert them because this is the hottest they're ever going to be. So we still want to try to convert them, but we need to educate them on our worldview. I like the term indoctrination. So we're going to indoctrinate them into our belief system, and then keep asking them in that first week after they don't become a client to move to the next stage. Then if that doesn't work, and for the most part, it doesn't, it only gets like 1 or 2 people, but that's enough to make a lot of money in an agency. So then the remainder of them just go into a long-term sequence and they become an audience. So they might not convert for another year or 2 years. I just got a client that they've known me for years, and they just signed up. So it's like years of knowing me, meeting me in person multiple times, and then they just signed up. So long-term nurturing is going to be your email list. It's going to be going to events. It's going to be all those other things. So it's not just a singular automation that you can do. There's a lot of little pieces that you're going to have to put together, but don't worry about doing them all at one time. Build one first, and build the sales part first, then build the follow-up. And you can build the follow-up one email at a time. You write it, and then you can send it to all the people who don't convert. So hopefully that helps. All right. And I got an... And Pam, thanks, Tim. Always appreciate your information. You're very welcome. Yeah, it's really difficult because there are intricacies. Because like Ian's asking, like, can you share any virtual team member onboarding process best practices? Well, like I said before, earlier, was that you have a bunch of different jobs that you're going to be filling. So it's not the exact same thing, and it's culture. Like my culture, the things that I want to onboard are different. Like the company that I invested in, Contractor Dynamics, Joe has his culture and it's not my culture. So he has his own indoctrinating process. And we built a framework, and it's simply like, what do they need to know at what stages? What do I want them to achieve? What do they want to achieve? And we just build a structure, and we have a particular time frame. 1 week, all the things that need to happen in that first week. Then in the first few weeks, what do you need them to know? What do they need to be able to do? What questions do they have? You need to have, and so it's intense. So the intensity level of a hire, an onboarding process of a hire, super intense in the beginning. It's like as many hours as you could possibly spend with that new hire. Then it goes to less time. You start reducing the amount of time till a point where you're just meeting with them once a week on their job, on growing. You may be meeting with them multiple times during the week just to accomplish your tasks. But I mean, to grow them as an employee, you need to be meeting with them at least once a week for probably the first year. Like that, start there. Start with something simple. Don't try to mimic someone else's. Just start with those simple things. What do I want them to know? What do they want to know? What progress do I wish to see out of them? And don't have some crazy, stupid requirement that they've got to be awesome in a short amount of time, because you weren't awesome in a short amount of time. Right. So one of my philosophies is your mistakes are not better than their mistakes. So you got to let them make mistakes and help them grow. That's your job. All right. Would you recommend, so determined soul, would you recommend setting up your LLC before obtaining your first client? The legal answer is yes. My experience, and do not mimic my experience, is I went out and got a client first. The reason you don't want to do business as a sole proprietor is that your personal assets become liable, right? So if you get sued, they can take your house, they can take all your stuff to compensate that person who sued you if they win, right? So you really do need a business structure. You're in business, be a professional, start a business. If you're doing it as procrastination, then okay, I still can't tell you don't do it, but a lot of people do all these things like go get business cards, set up their office, go buy a desk. They start doing all the accoutrements of business without doing business like that. So you don't exist as a business if you don't sell. That's it. Should you have legal protection? Should you have a legal business? Yes, you should. I do that. It's one of the first things I do now. But when I first started, I didn't do it. I just went out and made money because I needed to make money. So you've got to figure out why would you do it now? Why not just be a sole proprietor? What are the legal requirements of your state and your city, or since it's LLC questions, the United States? So what are those legal requirements? Fulfill the legal requirements, even as a sole proprietor. That's my advice. All right. Jason, thanks, Tim. What topics would you bring up to build a relationship through LinkedIn DMs? I specialize in chatbots. Okay. Because there's two questions here. It's like, I want to sell people. That's your underlying question. I want to sell chatbots. That's what I want to do. But relationship is not about selling. So you need to find out why they would even want to connect with you in the first place. Most people are just too selfish to even comprehend the person that they're reaching out to, that they're DMing, that what's in it for that other person. So figure out, treat them as an individual human being, because you only need 10 to 12 clients to make a huge amount of money. So go find those 10 to 12 potential people. Granted, you'll probably have to find like 60 to get 10 to 12, but you go out and you find 60 people, and 60 people you can get to know individually. That's my recommendation. I'm not going to give you specific words to use, but find out what's in it for them. Why would they want to speak to you? Why would any person on this planet wish to speak to you? that's your in, right? Then you can go into, I've got a solution for that, right? Because one of the things that I do is I like to get people to raise their hand. So they come in, and I see it on LinkedIn, how many people go check out my profile. I get hundreds a week checking out my profile. Now, all I have to do is ask them to do something after they've checked out my profile. That would be the smart thing, but I'm just trying to build an audience. But that's what I personally would do. Other people don't mind going right for the sale, and they don't mind spamming people, but then your numbers go from, say, 60 people that you need to target to 600 people that you need to target, because most of those people are going to treat you as spam, because you're not engaging with them as a human being on what's in it for them. All right. Kurt, recommendations for smaller entrepreneurs who are good at what they do, but not as good at project management. Hire a project manager. There you go. One of the best things about a service business is you never have to do any of the labor. You can find all the people you need to do the job, and you go out, sell it, and organize it. You organize those people. Getting the actual details done, well, you hire a project manager, and that project manager can get the details done. You just have to charge enough to be able to do that. And that's where most people falter, is that they don't actually charge enough money to be able to hire the people necessary to get the job done for them. And if that's the case, if you don't have that cash, then you're just going to have to learn the skill of project management, at least good enough until you can afford to do that, and restructure your clients so that you get paid enough money that you can actually hire a project manager and hire all the labor necessary to do the job. All right. American Troy 77. What do you think of the current state of the social media agency with so many fake gurus? Fake gurus are the nature of the beast. Humans desire easy. We're a conservative creature. We conserve energy. We conserve resources. That's why people they buy a bunch of crap, fill up their houses with it. Their house gets so full, they go get storage units and fill up those storage units, right? They do all that because they're just trying to conserve. They're trying to keep it all. But we're also complex creatures, and we piss away all of our money and our time. But the reality is that knowing that people want the easy path it can be so manipulated. You can take from people so easily. It's one of the reasons that I specifically do what I do, is to tell you, I don't work with newbies. Why? Because most newbies are trying to get the easy path to success, which doesn't even exist. Like that easy path doesn't exist. But see, if I was a guru, what I would tell you is, hey, I've got the easy way of getting that. Like the questions that I've gotten about the hiring, I could have lied. I could have lied and said, here's the easy structure that will get you the hires that you want. And yeah, it'll work 1 out of 5 times, like a 20% success rate. And then as long as you go, oh, wow, that one time it worked, well, then Tim's a genius, right? That's how gurus function. They function on the rabbit and hare, the tortoise and hare mentality. So they show you all the hares, all the rabbits that have ramped up and made success. Granted, all those rabbits end up failing eventually, like all of them, because they don't win the race. They made some early wins, or they're just straight up lying. And I've seen that with a lot of testimonials for gurus, is that there's a lot of people who want to be seen as successful, so they're willing to lie in a testimonial to be seen by the world as successful, even though they're not, and they've not made any success. Then there's the tortoise. Those people take so long to be successful that the gurus never show those people. Like the 99% that just take years to get to success, because that's what it takes. It takes years to get to success. It took me years. It took every one of my clients years. Sure, you can get some early wins. You can generate some money early, but then to actually maintain that money, to maintain those sales. So that's hard. If you are selling, I am going to help you build a business, then the easy path is to go, hey, it's quick and easy. I'll get you rich quick and easy. And so just buy my course. Well, that's not going to get you there. Like, I work personally with my clients because that's the only way they ever actually succeed. But I have to find, as I tell everyone here, you've got to find who your market is and get in front of them. So my market is agencies that are between $500,000 and $5 million, mostly above $1 million in revenue, that I work with because they have complex needs. They have the complex needs that are beyond a course. Like a course, go out and get clients. Like, okay, here's a few tactics to go do. That's it. And that's what gurus sell, because they can't handle the complexity. They don't even know the answers to the complexity. So, but they can make a lot of money taking money from newbies. And that will never go away as long as humans are human. It won't go away. All right. That man, that's kind of a downer. I don't want to end this on talking about lame ass gurus and people who like to give their money to those gurus. But like, that's never going away. Humans are always going to throw money at the easy path, right? All right. So any other questions? Any other questions before we call it good? Because we're at almost an hour. We're at almost 57 minutes. Last question. Who wants to ask that last question? And now I'm drinking cold ass coffee. Oh man. All right. Last question, everyone. Anyone want it? Because almost every time I say the last question, I get like 12. Right? If not, thank you all for coming. Hopefully you got something valuable from this. And if you want to get deeper into whatever your questions were, or if you're watching this afterwards and you've got questions, then pop into the comments. I answer them. It may be 10 o'clock at night when I'm doing it, but I will answer your questions. And I'm not like those dudes who give you like, oh, great, thumbs up, or go work hard. I actually give you a real response. You can go look at my track record on comments. So please, I am here to help you. Yes, and I'm going to be transparent. I'm helping you because I'm trying to build an audience. I want to build an audience. I've got plans that require me to be well known in the world. That's why I'm doing it. It's what I want you to do. I want you to do the same thing, build an audience, so that when you ask them to raise their hand, they do so. All right, hit those questions. Thank you all for coming, and I will see you in the next video.